After a year and a half and multiple updates overhauling how this game works and 2 DLCs increasing the amount of missions and things going on, is Star Wars Outlaws finally a game worth playing? Well, let's find out. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, what the hell, why are we even talking about this game? Well, I gotta say, the reason I want to talk about this game is because May the 4th just happened. I was at Disneyland on May the 4th. Yeah, that's right, I'm one of those people. Got a Darth Maul lightsaber, which was sick. Watched the Darth Maul series. Peak Star Wars right there, you need to go watch it. And now I'm on a binge streak of just watching all these different Star Wars shows, and it just reignited my passion for Star Wars and the things that I really do love about it. And it made me want to play a Star Wars game, and so that led me to Star Wars Outlaws. And I know that this game has so much hate, and that hate is very warranted given the state of the game when it first came out. But Ubisoft, the literal devil in gaming, has actually put in a good amount of effort to make the game better and improve on the content and the quality overall of what you can experience in this game. And so with that in mind, let's get into the nitty-gritty of Star Wars Outlaws. And right off the bat, let's talk about the story. Star Wars Outlaws follows Kay Vess, a young scoundrel trying to escape her past and make a new life for herself in the criminal underworld. After a job goes wrong, she gets pulled into a big heist, ends up on the wrong side of a powerful crime syndicate, and has to assemble a crew to pull off another dangerous job that could finally get her free. And for me, this was a pretty solid setup for a Star Wars story that seemed like it could be really, really interesting. But as we all know, Ubisoft low-key drops the ball almost every single time when it comes to storytelling and character development, and those types of things are really important when you're trying to build out a world and characters that you've never met and want people to relate with and love. Now, while it might seem like I didn't like the story at all, that was not the case. There was actually a couple parts in the story where I was like, oh yeah, this feels like Star Wars. This is some good stuff. But then you would quickly be brought down to reality of what a Ubisoft story game is and just kind of feel a little sad about it. And a perfect example of a disappointing character in this game is definitely the main bad guy. Like literally as I'm doing this audio, I cannot remember for the life of me what his name is because he's such a forgettable character that you don't even care about him when you see him on screen. You're like, oh yeah, that guy. He's still chasing me, huh? Oh, well, okay, cool. Let's get back to the good stuff. And what's the good stuff, you might be asking? Oh, I don't know. Maybe exploring the universe of Star Wars? Long had I dreamed of an open world Star Wars game where I could go and explore any of the planets that I ever wanted to, and for the most part, that fantasy for me is definitely hit in this game. From being able to land on the planet Tatooine and going from Jabba's palace to Mos Eisley to going out into the desert and just flying around on your speeder, this game kind of has everything for the Star Wars fan dream. And while you're traveling from points of interest to points of interest, you're able to see on your map different places that might have secrets, and in order to get to most of the places that you see on the map, you have to climb very Uncharted style, and also have to solve puzzles in order to get to the treasure. And what treasure are we getting, you might be asking? Well, it varies from materials to different outfits and then even different parts for your weapons that you use to upgrade your ship, speeder, and your guns. And so it's really worthwhile exploring at times because there is some upgrades that you do want to get for your weapons, that you do want to get for your speeder and your ship, because as you play on the harder difficulties, which is what I ended up playing on because, you know, I just love suffering so much. But exploration and finding materials for your guns, ships, and all that is only part of the experience when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws. You still have things like puzzles and combat that you have to look forward to, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the combat was something that I enjoyed quite a bit. If you've made it this far in the video and you're enjoying the content, do not forget to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. There are two different types of combat in Star Wars Outlaws, ground combat and space combat. And because I have a lot to say about the ground combat, we're going to start with the space combat first because in my opinion, that is the worst combat of this entire game. And so getting right into it, when it comes to the space combat, you're going to be able to fly around in outer space with your ship and you have missiles, you have laser guns, you can upgrade those to have different types of variants of those things. But when it comes down to it, the space combat is just very basic, point and shoot, and the enemy will die eventually. And honestly, this to me just wasn't really that fun. It wasn't all that fun to explore in space, and so I actually avoided the space combat or just the space stuff in general because it just wasn't fun to me. And that's a big bummer because in Star Wars, the space battles are iconic for being epic and extremely fun to watch. And to have that translate over into this game and not be what you would expect and not really have any like innovation when it comes to the space combat or anything like that, it's just very disappointing to me as a Star Wars fan wanting to come in and really enjoy this space combat, but I just didn't. And you know, sometimes you win some, you lose some, and the space combat in Star Wars Outlaws for me wasn't something that I enjoyed, but that doesn't mean that you won't enjoy it more than I do. I play games like Star Citizen and Jump Space, which just have a little bit more complexity when it comes to the space combat.
I'm brilliant.
But if you're looking for straightforward, easy space combat, then Star Wars Outlaws has got you covered. And now we can move on to my favorite part about this game, and that was the ground combat. And the way I like to break this combat down is there's two ways to play. You can take it the stealthy way and try and avoid combat altogether, where you go in and take out guards left and right without being seen and avoiding cameras and whatnot. Or you can roll up guns a-blazing with all your weapons, all your tricks, and just try and take out as many enemies as you can, just so you can clear out a base as quickly as possible. And I will say that I enjoyed the guns a-blazing approach more than I enjoyed the stealth approach, just because I felt like the stealth approach took you out of the game when it came to immersion. And what I mean by this is in this game, when you're stealthing around, you can take down any enemy that is unaware of your presence. And so your character will grab them, they'll punch them in the face, and they'll knock them out, right? But this doesn't work in my mind when someone is like a stormtrooper and they have a helmet on that's supposed to help them not get knocked out by concussive forces like thermal grenades and shit. And they have some random person running up to them, tapping them on the shoulder and knocking them out in one punch. Like my ass couldn't knock someone out if they had a helmet on and I punched them right in the helmet. It's just not gonna work. And so it's just really, really, really annoying and unrealistic in my opinion. It just totally takes you out of the game. But the thing is the way they could have fixed this so easily is later on in the game, you unlock the ability to take out heavier enemies and you pull out this electrical prod thing that you poke into their necks, shocks them and knocks them out. Like, why didn't we just start with something like that where, yeah, of course they're going to be knocked out. We just shocked them with 10 million volts of electricity. And so in order to stay immersed in the Star Wars fantasy that Ubisoft has built here, I decided to go guns a-blazing in almost every encounter that I could think of, unless it really felt wrong to go guns a-blazing. And so when it comes to playing that more aggressive play style, you have the option of using your blaster, which has 3 different types of shots that you can switch between. So there's the normal shot, which is great for most firefights. There's the ion shot. This one is really good against the droid variants of the enemies that you come across, like it one-shots them. And then there's the explosive shot. And this one for me, I didn't use in the combat all that much because the blaster shot is pretty slow. It does a ton of damage, but the thing is when I'm aiming with my mouse and keyboard, I am not able to hit my shots because the bolt is moving too slow to hit them. And on top of the blaster that you get from the beginning of the game that you can modify to have those 3 different shots, you can also pick up weapons off the floor. And these will be the weapons that hit the hardest when it comes to combat. And the reason that's the case is because these weapons don't stay with you for very long, because after you shoot a couple shots, the ammo runs out and you throw the gun to the side. And this is a design choice that I really just can't get behind because it just limits the amount of play styles that you can have in this game. Because if you're like a person who likes to play as a sniper and take all the enemies out from a distance, it just doesn't really work because you run out of ammo and you throw your gun to the side. And I know they did this to kind of like make the blaster with the different variants of the bolts more important, but I just feel like it limited the amount of play styles that people can have in this game, and that's really just a bummer, honestly. But I will say, when it comes down to it, I really did enjoy this combat. Like, I know it's limiting in the play styles that you can have, but for me, I vibed with the blaster and had a lot of fun with it because I was able to just take out enemies left and right, headshots left and right, because I'm playing on mouse and keyboard, so I feel like I can actually aim.
I'm kind of a big deal.
And that just made for a really fun experience for me, and I felt like I was fighting in the universe of Star Wars. And I don't know what it is, but being in that universe, even if it's like a 7 out of 10 game, is just fucking awesome to me. And now we come to the point in the video where you decide for yourself whether or not this is a game for you. And I gotta say, if you're looking for a 7 out of 10 experience where you just want to sit down, have a Star Wars story, get immersed in some Star Wars worlds, and just enjoy being in the universe of Star Wars, then Star Wars Outlaws is the game for you. But if you're coming into this with expectations that it's gonna be the best Star Wars game you've ever played, then there's other better games out there for you to hop in and play. Games like Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, those are stories that are gonna hit you hard and you're gonna have a good time with it. But if you get this game on a sale and you're able to just hop in and play with low expectations, then you're gonna have a hell of a good time playing it. And so I hope to see you guys on the planet of Tatooine riding your speeder bike all the way to Jabba's palace. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.